And welcome back to the second page of the Unit 2A test review. This is 11 through 20. So we're going to get 10 questions done. This is the second page, which is the last page of the review. And let's start off with some easy ones. Because look, 11. Is this a function or not a function? Well, I only care about my x values over here. So on a mapping, which is what this is right here, my x values can only have one arrow, and because this one has two arrows, I cannot do that, which makes this not a function. And that's it. I'm done with 11. 12, is this a function or not a function? Well, if you remember on a graph, I do what's called the vertical line test. And no vertical line, can pass the graph or point more than one time. So that's 1 point, but this one passes 2 points. So if I pass more than one time anywhere, this is not a function. And that's it. I have no more to do for that question, at least. But now I can go to 13. And 13 says, is this a function or not a function? Now, I draw a vertical line. I can do it anywhere I want to. But no matter where I draw the line, right, none of those vertical lines pass the graph more than one time. So because I only pass once, this makes it a function. And that's it. I'm done. On to 4. See, look, that first 3 were easy. Okay, so don't see a decimal and panic, right? This is the same thing we did on the front page. Find f of 4, which is x, when f of x equals, and then it gives me this small equation. So again, I'm going to take 4, and everywhere I see an x, I'm going to write 4 instead. So I have f of, instead of x, I put 4, equals 3.2x, so 3.2 parentheses 4. And then don't forget minus 7. And because I can type this in, I'm going to do so. So I have 3.2 parentheses 4 minus 7, 5.8. And I'm done with this one. Look at that. Easy question, I hope. On to 15. Well, we're almost halfway done. Find f of 1 given the graph below. Okay, if you recall, anything in parentheses is x. And since 1 is x, I have to stay on the x-axis right here. Okay, so I go over to 1 on the x-axis, and I want to find where my graph crosses at 1. So if I trace this line right here, it crosses all the way up here. I go over. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my answer. I just want to know where my graph crosses when x is 1. And it crosses at 4. Okay. Another way you could think about this, if this helps, is if I go over to 1, right, on the x-axis, and I find this point, I can write that as an ordered pair if you want to. So that would be like 1, 4, right? Because I go over 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my ordered pair. If it gives me x right here, then I have to be asking for the one I don't have, which is y. And so it's 4. So you can do it either way. I mean, really, you're just finding the y value of the point on the graph when x is 1. I mean, that's what it is. So that's 15. So here, let's do that on 16. So find f of negative 2. So this is x, right? So if I go on x, I go negative 2, and I go down. Here's the point that it crosses, right? So if I wrote that, that'd be negative 2, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. Okay, so if it gives me x, I'm asking for y. So negative 4 is my answer. Because if I do that, that's where it crosses. I go over. That's 1, 2, 3, negative 4. So either way you do it, you get the same answer. So whichever way is easier, do that. But those two are kind of the same. All right. 17. Evaluate the function when x equals 3. So again, here's my number. Anywhere I see x, I replace it with 3 and then just solve. So I have c of 3 equals negative 5x. So negative 5 parentheses 3 and then minus 8. Okay, now I'm going to type that in. Oh no. And there we go. So I have negative 5 parentheses 3 minus 8. I get negative 23. And I'm done with 17. Look at that. That wasn't bad. 18. Evaluate the function. Oh, it's the same thing. When x equals 24. So here's 24. So anywhere I see x, I'm going to replace it with 24. So I have k of, instead of x, I write my number, 24, equals 7 over 8 x. Now remember, instead of x, I do parentheses and then write my number that it tells me. And then don't forget minus 5. Okay, from here, got out my calculator. Because I'm such a nerd, I carry this with me. I'm just kidding, I don't. I really don't. I promise. So, fraction 7 over 8, parentheses 24, minus 5. 16 is my answer. Okay. And I'm done with that question. And I got 2 left. Alright, so let f of x equal, and it gives me this function equation right here. Evaluate f of 3. What we talked about earlier, anything in parentheses right here is x, okay? Because it's c f of x, it's f of 3, so 3 is x. Y'all see that? It's the same thing. So anywhere I see an x, I'm going to replace it with 3, and then I solve for some answer. So I have f of 3 equals 5 parentheses x, right? So I have 5 parentheses, x is 3 minus 7 minus 14. And now I can just type that in on my fancy calculator here. So I have 5 parentheses 3 minus 7 and minus 14. So my answer is negative 34. And I'm done. Look at that. Now, last question. Wow, this page took far less time than the front. So that's not too bad. Oh, we have to compare the two functions. So it gives me f of x equals 3x plus 4, and g of x is 7x minus 9. So when it says how does the function value for x equals 5 compare for the two functions, if you remember, I have to plug in this 5 into all of these x's right here. I get 2 answers. I get an answer for f, I get an answer for g, and then I just go down here and say the answer for f is greater than g, or it's less than g, or it's equal to g. Those are my only 3 options. It's either less than, greater than, or equal, okay? So I have to plug these in first. So I'm going to do that. So I'll do f. I'm going to start with f. So anywhere I see an x, so these two x's, I'm going to replace with 5. So I have f of x. Oh, man, see, I didn't even do it. F of 5 equals 3x. So 3, 5, plus 4. Okay. Now, you can type that one in, but I can tell you it's 19. Okay. So I type that in, I get 19. So this side I get, let's say, equals 19. Now I'm going to change colors just to show you what I'm doing on the right. So now I did f, now I want to do g. Okay, and I want to make sure I use the g equation. Don't use the f twice, then it's always equal, and that's not going to be right. Okay, so g of x, or I do g of, remember, wherever I see x, I put my number, 5 equals 7x, or 7 parentheses 5 minus 9. Okay, so I'm going to type that in. I have 7 parentheses 5 minus 9 is 26. So this one equals 26. So here is really what I'm trying to do, and this is all this work, right? Oh my gosh, it's so much. It's not that bad. Quick and plain in. All right, I'm comparing my answers. So I want to compare 19 and 26. Okay, so 19 is F, right? So remember I did this the other day. I'll write my answers right above. So I want to say 19 is less than, greater than, or equal to 26. Well, obviously we know 19 is less than 26. Therefore, f of 5 is less than g of 5. And that is my answer. And I am finally done with the test review. All 20 questions. So yeah, if you have any other questions or need help, or this didn't help you enough, please come ask. I can help you out. And do the practice test. That'll help.